Master one trading strategy and see what happens. No, not that one. That one. That other one. Why are you using 200 different trading strategies? Why are you going into the market using all these different strategies? Why do you keep changing your strategy? Every 5 minutes, you jump from one strategy to the next strategy to the next strategy. And let me tell you something, in the 33 years that I've been trading, I've made the same mistakes as you. And what I'm going to do today is tell you how to get over that and how to prevent that from happening to you so that you don't have to make all those mistakes that I made for the last, well, I started in BCE or something like that. It was a long time ago when I started trading, and I've been through all these different things that we do, all these different mistakes that we make as all the new systems came into play over the years. And now I'm going to impart that information over to you so that you can figure out. And then at the end of the video, not only after I've imparted all that information to you, I'm actually going to give you my strategy for free, the strategy that I use on a daily basis. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rob. And for those of you who do know me, guess what? I am still Rob, and it's Coffee with Rob, and we're having some coffee. Let's talk about it. Let's understand how one strategy can make all the difference to your trading. First thing you have to understand is that the squiggly lines that you're looking at on your screen, the candles and the charts and all the different little goodies on there are not a strategy. They are a system. And the thing that you keep changing on a regular basis is not your strategy. It's your system. Because all the systems work. Every single system in the market works, whether you're trading Forex, whether you're trading crypto, whether you're trading indexes, or whether you're just trading shares. They all work and they're all the same. I've heard many of you ask me, Rob, should I choose one or two instruments and only trade on that and concentrate on that and get to know it really well? Or should I just trade everything? And I always tell you guys, just trade everything. I don't have a predictive capability. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. And guess what? Neither can that system. That system also can't tell you what's going to happen in the future. What it can do is it can give you a high probability trade, and that's kind of what you're looking for. You're looking for a good feeling in your heart when you take the trade that you're doing the right thing, that you're not going against the winds of change. Trading is risky. On 5-minute trading, 99% of traders lose money. And on day trading and position trading, well, day charts and 4-hour charts, 60 to 80% of traders lose money. And you'll say, wow, that's quite a statistic. I don't believe that. And I know you're all going to believe that you're going to be part of that 1% of the winners, or you're going to be part of that 30% of the winners in position trading. You all believe that. You all think that because I think that. We all do, even if you're a beginner. You can't possibly believe that you're going to be on the losing side of this. And the main reason I think for that is because when you go on the course that you spent half your money on that you could have invested in the market and just threw it down the toilet, and I don't know, how much is the course? $5,000, something like that? Gone. You know, there's all the money gone. Insane, really. Instead of using it for trading, instead of using it for proper trading. So you go on this course and they teach you a system, one of the systems in the market. There's so many of them, it's almost insane. You come back with that system after scoring high marks, and you did the demo there, and with a bit of help from the educator, and you passed it. I mean, you won every trade just about. You did so well. You come back and you think, I know the stock market inside out now. I know everything about the markets. You come back with all the abbreviations. You even know who invented the markets. You're just on top of this. You're an economist now. You come back and you sit down, I'm the oak, and you start trading. And you start trading at home, and you start losing. And you think, what? How is that possible? I just paid a fortune for a course. I come home or back to my office or wherever it is, my car, whatever, and I start trading, start losing. And I'm like, how's that even possible? I know everything I just learned everything there is to know. And that guy who taught me assured me that this is a fail-safe system, that you're going to win 80% of your trades or 90% of the trades, in some cases, all of your trades. It's all a lie. It doesn't work like that. There's no such thing. Trading in the markets is a lot like becoming whatever else you want to become, a lawyer, a doctor, a mechanic, an electrician. You have to learn. You have to get experience. So even if you walked in and you wanted to be an electrician today, and you did a 3-month course, not even a 2-week course like on trading, a 3-month course on electrics, and they taught you everything about positive and negative wires and earths and all these different things, and you did a few sine waves on the machines, and you did everything electricians are supposed to do, and you learnt on this course. Do you honestly think that you can go out into the field and now be an electrician? In all likelihood, not. Probably electrocute yourself, most likely. Because you may have learnt the theory, you may have learnt the school part, but you haven't experienced it in real life. You haven't come across all those obstacles that you face in real life. You haven't tripped over the things that go wrong in real life while you're being an electrician. And the same applies to trading. You need experience, which is why apprenticeships or internships as doctors or whatever the case take years. It's not because they want to hold you back and say, oh, we don't want you to do this in a year. No, it's because they send you on a course every year, you learn a bit, and then you do a bit of more on the job. So that's what the master's is about, isn't it? But a little bit more of on the job sort of training, so that you get a feel, an experience, and a gut feel for what's going on in the real world, because the real world is completely different to the school world. The school world gives you that basic education that you need, but the real world gives you the real experience and the real education that you need. So the first thing in trading that you learn when you go into it is it's not about the squiggly lines. It's not about the little ups and downs and crossovers and whatever else you've learned. It's about your psychology. It's about your mind, and it's about how you see things on a regular basis. Because if you see the same thing over and over again, it just gets easier for you. It gets better if you know what you're doing. It's a bit like if you take your car to a mechanic and it's his first day on the job, it might take him a couple of days to fix your car. But if you take it to him and he's been doing this for 20 years, he might fix it in an hour. Because he's seen it all before. He's seen it, done that, sold the t-shirt a number of times. He knows exactly what's going on. I'm just trying to get this through to you guys, that you can't just start trading and expect to turn $100 into $1 million. That's not possible. It's not how it works. I actually saw one guy trying to prove this experiment by taking, I think it was $1,000, and trying to turn it into $1 million within a certain number of trades. I don't want to mention the number because I'll be lying to you, because I can't remember the exact number. It could have been 10 trades. It could have been 8 trades. I don't know. But he had a number, had worked out. And then by doubling each leveraged trade, depending on the leverage, he would eventually turn this into $1 million. And he'd been trying it for a number of years. And do you know what? This pro trader had failed on every single occasion. Every occasion. Because you could never quite reach the final point. You see, you might get 2 or 3 or 4 trades in, and then boom, the one will go. And the whole concept of that is to go all in on every single trade to get to that point. So in other words, you have to win 10 massive trades in a row, for example. And that, in all probability, is not going to happen, because as you're going to find out in the markets, you lose more than you win. The market's 50-50. And we're getting to that point now where I'm telling you the market is a 50-50 game. You're going to say to me, but if the market's 50-50, then if I win 5 and lose 5, then surely I'm going to end on 0. Well, if that happens, you're going to be so far ahead of every other single trader out there. It's crazy because there aren't many traders that can break even. What you want to do is you want to make a profit. And I'll show you the strategy that'll make you the profit if the market's 50-50. I'll get to that. But first understand this. If I tossed a coin 10 times, I took a coin and tossed it 10 times, heads or tails. In all high probability, and you'll agree with this, it'll land on tails 5 times, it'll land on heads 5 times. That's 50-50. Am I equating the markets to a coin toss? No, I'm just giving you this as a probability. If that's the case, and I said to you, for every time it lands on heads, if you chose heads, I'll give you 2. And for every time it lands on tails, because you don't want tails, we'll take away 1. I don't know anyone in their right mind who wouldn't take those odds, because those odds are in your favor. They're great odds. They're fantastic odds. Why wouldn't you take it? So that's how we approach the markets. We approach the markets with exactly the same concept. The concept of make more on your wins and lose less on your losses. First thing you have to understand, though, is the system that you learn on the course, or the system that you learn on YouTube, or the system that you've adopted is not what's going to make you money. A win rate doesn't make you money. A win rate gives you something to boast about. You can walk around and tell all your mates in the pub you've got an 80% win rate. Because 8 trades, you win $10 on each trade. The 9th trade, you lose $1,000. Sounds like you're in a loss. Doesn't sound good, does it? So you've got to get around the fact that a win rate doesn't make you money. Strategy makes you money. A business plan makes you money. Is there any business plan in the world, or any business in the world, that you would start without a business plan? I said that wrong. But if you were going to start a factory down the road, and you said to me, Rob, I'm going to start a business now, and I'm going to start it down the road. And I said to you, what business are you going to start, James? And you'd be like, well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'd say to you, that's a bit silly. And most of your mates would say to you, well, that's a bit silly, mate, because surely you would have decided what business you're going to start. That's the first part of your business plan. What am I going to start? How much money am I going to need to start it? Where am I going to get the money? Are there going to be investors? Is it going to come from the bank? Where's it going to come from? Because it's not going to come out of fresh air, is it? And then, do I need machines? How much money do I need? Do I need staff? Do I need till points? Am I going to have a point of sale? Am I going to have a retail? All these things fit into your business plan. But funny enough, when you go into trading, you don't even think about those things. You just get started and start trading. And you don't even know what's going to happen next. You just hope that you're going to win. And that sound like you? Does it sound like something familiar? Trust me, everyone's made the same mistakes. Everyone believes the same things, and everyone does this. I mean, when I got into trading, I also thought that this was just a bunch of squiggly lines. You draw a line and you make a profit above that line and you make a loss below that line. And that's how you start. Nobody tells you that it's a real business. Nobody tells you that you need to get your head around it and you need to get your psychology around it. Big thing is, though, how do we operate this so that we can be strategically a winner, so that we can actually make money in the markets? So I'm going to tell you how this works so that you can think about this and use it in your system. And you can stop changing your system every 5 minutes, because you get a system and it works for a few trades, and then it fails, and then you go and tweak it or look for another system, and it works for a few trades, and then it stops working, and then you tweak it again and it fails, and you go down, and you get another system and you tweak it again and it doesn't work, and you end up putting it back to where it was, and then it works for a while, and then it stops again, and then you go in this vicious circle of doom, constantly trying new systems out, because every time your system fails, you believe it's the system. Remember what I said to you earlier? Every single system that's available to you in the market works, because some genius backtested it. Some genius proved that it actually works. Of course it works. Do you know why? Because it's just a line in the sand. It's a line in the sand. If it's above that line, I buy. If it's below that line, I sell. There's only two ways the market can go, up or down. It doesn't go sideways. It goes up and it goes down. You just have to choose which way it's going to go to make a profit on any given instrument. Easy, isn't it? Well, not really. No. The strategy I use is this. If I have a $25,000 account, 100,000, let's say a $25,000 account. That's an easy one. Most of you can equate that kind of money. What I do, I side, and like I say, nothing I say constitutes financial advice. This is just what I do. I risk 1% of my account on every single trade. Now, when I say I risk 1% of my account on every single trade, if I decide that the account size is $25,000, then I don't let it grow and I don't change the account size until I feel that I want it to be a $50,000 account or a $100,000 account. Then I manually change it. If I make a profit on that $25,000, I withdraw that money. It doesn't lie in the account. I never leave money in a broker's account. And I keep it at around the $25,000 level. The same way I handle my stop loss. It just needs to be around that level. Every single trade that I take is 1% of the account. Plus minus 1%. It should be $250. But if it's 220, if it's 270, that's okay. Close enough. It's in that general region. That's where I want it to be. How do I work that out? Easy, really. What I do is I look at a trade and I say, I want to take that trade. But if I take this trade, at what point on this chart would my trade be invalid? If I looked at this now and I said, I want to take this trade, but if it gets to that point, this trade's really in trouble, that's where I want my stop loss. That's called an invalidation. Because the trade's no longer valid when it gets to that point, and I don't want to move my stop loss down. If it gets to that point, I know that I might as well throw that trade in the bin and move on. Now I've chosen my level of stop loss. All I got to do now is work out how many lots, how many pips, whatever it might be, contracts I need back up to the cost level to make up that trade with a $250 stop loss. Now I know the size of my trade. Now all I got to do with that trade is work out, will I make more on my win than I'm making on my loss? Because the general consensus here, guys, is you want to make more on your wins than you're losing on your losses. So if I'm risking $250, I don't want to be targeting a $50 profit because I'm truly wasting my time. I want to be making more than $250. I don't say it has to be 2-to-1. I don't say it has to be 3-to-1. It's a recommendation, 2-to-1, but I do say try and make more on the wins and lose less on the losses. How do I manage that? When it goes into profit, a decent profit, try and move your stop loss up into break even so the trade's not costing you anything. You must remember every single trade you take is costing you that $250. When you take it, just write it off. That's what it's costing you. When you can take it to break even, suddenly it's a free trade. Why do I say that? You see, the big problem with human beings is this. If it goes into a loss, you'll hang on to it with your fingernails. You'll hang on to it for dear life. You don't want to take that. But when it goes $50 into profit, you'll be the first to jump out, say, look, I made a profit. A profit's a profit, no less, so I got a profit. But effectively, what you should be doing is holding on for dear life to the trades that you're winning and letting go of the trades that you're losing. It's really important to understand that. Too many times, you'll follow those trades to the downside, but you won't follow them to the upside. You've got to learn to become a good loser. You've got to learn to accept that you're going to lose more trades than you win. Now, the way to do this is to accept that you've paid $250 for the trade. But if I'm in a profit, most of us really don't want to lose that profit because that's just as painful as just losing. If I take my stop loss and I put it up at break even once I'm in a decent profit, then at least I know I'm not losing anything really. I'm still going to have a break even. And if it really goes into a decent profit, I can move it up and still be in a little bit of profit, $100, $200 in profit. That's almost a 1-to-1, and I'm not losing anything. So that trade is not only free now, it's actually profitable. You know, if you feel the trade can run harder and run further, you can do that. That's the way to actually best manage the trades. When it gets up to the take profit, a good idea is actually to take the the stop loss and move it right up behind the price instead of just taking the profit, just in case it goes further, just in case it makes you a little bit more money, because you never know. It might make you more money. Guys, if you're enjoying this video, do me a favor and subscribe. Give us a bit of a like and subscribe there. Maybe leave a comment. It's always good for the channel. Why not? Guys, you know what? At the end of the day, the psychology of winning comes with success. If you're losing, it's going to be very difficult to take trades. This is where it hurts most of the time. When you come back from your course and you start trading with real money, it's nerve-wracking because you're trading with real money. That becomes difficult. It's never easy. So even if you're losing $1, it becomes insanely difficult. So what you've got to learn to do with money is you've got to learn what your threshold is. So in the beginning, start very light and get a feel for the trades. And once you're more confident with the losing and winning, then you'll understand how much you're prepared to risk. And that risk will grow with time. So if you're not comfortable risking $250 on a $25,000 account and you can't sleep and you can't leave the phone alone or the computer or whatever it might be, then do yourself a favor and drop the risk. Divide it by 2. See if you're comfortable at $125. Are you comfortable at $50? Trade where your comfort zone is. The biggest problem with trading is handling the loss, the fear, the psychology, the FOMO. Going into a loss will affect your next trade insanely. If you've lost the last 1 or 2 trades, the next trade's going to be that much more difficult. In fact, what I do is if I've lost 3 trades in a day, I won't trade again for that day. That said, I don't trade 5-minute charts anymore. I trade on the 4-hour and on a day position trade. So my trades are that much longer, so I can afford to do that. But if I've lost 3 trades in a day, I will stop trading and I will come back tomorrow, because then my mindset will have cleared, it will have reset, and I'll be more comfortable taking my new trades. Think about that. It's very important. If you keep trying to trade the same day, your mindset doesn't change. You become more and more affected by the losses in your next trades, and it hurts your trading really, really badly. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I hope it helps you. Do come back for the live shows every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays at 11 GMT plus 2, Thursdays at 1400 GMT plus 2. Don't forget to join as a member. Joining as a member gives you all the perks. It gives you the trade of the day every single day, and a couple of other things as well that are there. And I love having the A-team on the live shows. It's always good fun. Thank you for watching. Keep your feet on the ground. Reach for the sky. Cheers. Ciao and bye.